Thank you so much for joining us on another interesting episode of From the Correspondent on Signature TV. I am Emmanuel Tewasi, bringing you interesting stories and conversation with our reporters and correspondents across the country. Today's lineup has very interesting stories lined up for your viewing pleasure. First, we'll look at the House of Representatives Committee on Reformatory Institution seeking partnership with the Enugu State government to relocate the Enugu Correctional Center. Then the Enugu State House of Assembly had a public hearing to amend the landlord and tenancy law aiming to address deficit and high rent for low-income earners in the state. Now, up next would be the governor's pledge to surpass its 600 billion internally generated revenue target for 2022, talking about Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State. Then a research fellow, Dr. Uzochukwu Amakon, has urged Nigerians to actively engage with government budget to ensure they reflect citizens' need, speaking at an IDS event analyzing states' budgets. Then we look at Signature's TV partnership with the Institute of Development Studies, UNEC, on impactful development. Next would be a decline in livestock demand at the new artisan market, likely due to Christian and Muslim fasting, followed by prominent Nigerians gathered in Abuja to honor Professor Humphrey Nwosu, remembered his dedication to fair elections, followed by new leadership has emerged in the Enugu State branch of the Association of Medical Laboratory Science of Nigeria. And lastly, we'll look at the new Kebbi State Comptroller of Custom has pledged to fight crime and enhance border security in that area. We have all these and more for you when we return from the break. Stay with us.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was
Why the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
Aye. We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Watching From the Correspondent on Signature TV. This is where we bring you stories behind the headlines by having a first-hand testimonial from our team of correspondents. The House of Representatives Committee on Reform Institution is soliciting assistance of the Enugu State government for a smooth relocation of the Enugu State Correctional Center to a new site. The chairman of the committee, Chinedu Oga, made the appeal when he led members of the committee to visit the Enugu State Governor, Peter Ndubuisi at the Enugu State Government House.
The federal government recently announced plans to relocate 29 correctional centers across the country to new location due to urbanization of their present location and other factors. This relocation is part of a broader effort to address the challenges faced by correctional centers in the country. Among the centers slated for relocation is the Enugu Correctional Center, presently situated near the bustling and heavily congested Enugu Motor Park, where it shares boundaries with the Enugu North Local Government Headquarters, the Enugu Central Police Station, and other private and public establishments. The proposed permanent site for the Enugu State Correctional Center is at Amechi Dodo, located in the Nkanu East Local Government Area. Leader of the delegation and chairman of the House Committee on Reformatory Institutions, Chinedu Oga, commended Governor Mba for ending the sit-at-home phenomena and other security challenges that hindered economic growth in the state. He expressed satisfaction with the governor's development initiatives and urged him to support the relocation of the correctional center and provide vehicles for transporting inmates to court.
And this is something, as you also have observed that we have been advocating that we have to, move the prisons, as it were, to outside the city. And so I think you have a ready partner in the state. You have a partner that we have a coincidence of objective, the objective of moving the prison to a site that would also provide all the facilities the current center has, including training. And so we're going to anxiously waiting to hear from you how you want us as a state government to engage. The good news is that based on the Fifth Amendment, the states can now play in all the value chain of correctional center provision. So that is something that gives us the latitude to also include that in our budget.
Governor Mba welcomed the federal government's approval to move the correctional center out of the state's metropolis and promised to assist.
Our duty of being here today, Your Excellency, is bound by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, amended in 1999 Constitution, that empower the governor of a state to establish, construct, build, train, and retrain an inmate. We are here because the federal government have approved the relocation of Enugu Correction Center. Because Enugu Correction Center is the heart of the town, and it's something I've been clamoring as a governor. That is why we are here to do our foresight as a shrine by the order of the National Assembly that empower us to oversight and equally to see the relocation site. Your Excellency, we are here today to see most of other things we have felt the impact of your good administration. For accommodating mostly 90% of your administration are youth, and that is my constituency. And I feel the impact. Today you can pass Enugu at any time, any day, without recording any crime. It's kudos to you, Your Excellency.
The governor sought clarification on the nature and level of assistance needed for the state government in that regard. In Enugu, Chinemere Mikebunam for Signature TV News.
Still from Enugu, the Enugu State House of Assembly organized a public hearing on a proposed amendment to the landlord and tenants law of the state. The hearing is seen as a bold step by the House to address the house deficit and high rents in the state, especially as it affects low and middle income earners.
Please, every agent, whether you are a owner, surveyor, you're under housing, you're under everything, I think you all need to come under one body.
If you are going to add in this bill, or we shall know whom your tenant is. Because if you go to somewhere like Canada, if you don't have work permit and you don't have any place you are working, no landlord will give you a house to live.
It was a gathering that gave voice to key stakeholders from Enugu State, including members of staff of the Enugu State Housing Development Corporation, estate surveyors and officers from the State Ministry of Housing. Others are legal practitioners and members of the Nigerian Bar Association, members of National Association of Nigerian Students, landlords, tenants, civil society groups, and human rights activists, among others. The proposed amendments aim to reduce sharp practices in the sector, define the role of agents, and accord recognition to estate surveyors, landlords, and tenants. The Speaker of the Enugu State House of Assembly, Uche Ogun, represented by the member of Nkanu West, Iloabuchi Aniago, emphasized the need for a uniform payment system and the amendment of agency and estate development fees.
If you say you are an agent or estate developer, you have to register with the state, pay certain sum of money to the state, and the state will be allowed that you are operating in the state. So if anything goes wrong, the state can easily take hold of you.
Chairman of the House Committee on Housing and Foreign Investment, Okemba, noted that the astronomical and unregulated increase in rent and other charges posed a serious problem to citizens of the state.
Sure that our people pay so much in order to procure them. So, and because of the agitations, around the states, we, and personally, and members of this honorable house, deem it very, very necessary and important to meet this problem at the board. We cannot allow our people to continue to suffer this magnitude of arbitrary charges because of procurement in the state.
Secretary and legal advisor of the Enugu State Housing Development Corporation, Anna Ayede, said the corporation should regulate housing agency issues rather than the Ministry of Housing. He argued that as a body created by law, the corporation is better equipped to handle regulation, which would ultimately reduce fraud.
Law is assembly. And we are saying that because we are a question of law, the Dr. said, Mr. Speaker, we create an audience to please permit any state housing development corporation empowered by law to take charge of this agency fee to regulate the avoid fraud and illegality has been committed by some agents.
Other stakeholders, including representatives from the Ministry of Housing, estate surveyors, and legal practitioners, also made presentations on the proposed bill.
I'm thinking that 5% earmarked for agency, the 10% earmarked for the agency as recorded in the video is much. I suggest it goes back to 5%.
To ameliorate the sufferings of the people, with respect to what they pass through, all big and high who parade themselves as estate agents. I want to let us know that the Estate Surveillance and Dollar Restitution Board of Nigeria is a federal agency, and it was created by a federal law known as Estate Surveillance and Dollar Restitution Act, CAP, E13, Laws of Federation of Nigeria, 2004.
So you are working for your landlord and I'm paying you. It is not done like that. If you want something to work, it has to be on the ground that everybody will treat everybody. And then you expect students to go to court with money. Where do you get that money from? To go to court to challenge your landlord. So it is not done that way. So the lawyers should be paid by landlords. They should go and settle their issues. Our own is let us come, settle the landlord. The landlord should go and settle their lawyer because clearly they are working for the landlord. So there is no point for the tenants to pay lawyers.
The discussion highlights the complexities of housing regulation and the need for effective collaboration among stakeholders to address the challenges facing the sector. The bill has undergone its first and second readings, and the public hearing marks a crucial step towards its passage. Chinemerem Ikebunam, Signature TV News.
See from Enugu State, the Enugu State government says it would surpass its projected internally generated revenue target of 600 billion for the year 2025. The state governor Peter Mba made this commitment during his investiture, as the president of the Enugu State Sports Club, during which he inaugurated the newly remodeled clubhouse.
This remodeled clubhouse, which is designed for the recreational needs of Enugu. We commissioned this for the benefit of Enugu and to the glory of God.
The Enugu Sports Club has a rich history dating back to 1929, when it was established as an exclusive European club. And for a long time, it catered to the sporting and recreational needs of the civil service of Eastern Nigeria, as well as other government establishments like the then Nigerian Coal Corporation and the Nigerian Railway Corporation. Today, it stands as one of the oldest sports clubs in Nigeria, boasting of a nominal membership of over 1,000 families from across the country and beyond. As a private non-profit making elite and family membership club, Enugu Sports Club has become a hub where governors play key roles in its management. Speaking during his investiture as the president, Governor Mba described the club as an important partner of his administration, which has a key role to play in the development of the state. Mba expressed confidence that the state would surpass its projected internally generated revenue, IGR, of 600 billion naira.
In catering for the recreational needs of Enugu, the Enugu Sports Club serves as a functional location that promotes health and social cohesion, and indeed also foster an environment that also promotes the well-being of our people. So you can see that the Enugu State Sports Club is an important partner of my government.
The governor said his development strategy and inclusive growth has integrated all parts of the state in a unified economic plan and promised to asphalt the entrance road and address other pressing needs of the club. Mbahu commended the outgoing executives for remodeling the clubhouse, pledged to renovate Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium and Ogo Sports Village as part of preparation to host the 2026 National Sports Festival. Outgoing chairman of the club, Nnanna Atuonwu, commended Governor Mba for his support towards the successful remodeling of the clubhouse and announced Ifeanyi Nweke as the new chairman of the club.
Club leadership under my officer decided to take the bold and difficult option of a total renovation and refurbishment of the hall. It was obviously not an easy task to accomplish, given the prohibitive cost of materials and labor, as well as the very obvious work involved. We were, however, blessed to have a dedicated and enthusiastic member as both the governor of Enugu State and president of the club. To him, we naturally had to call for assistance.
The chairman of the occasion and secretary of the Police Service Commission, Onyemuche Nnamani, praised Atuonwu for the remarkable transformation of the clubhouse during his tenure.
We decided to tell him about the hall first. Let's get it done first. Then we'll come back and tell him about the other problem. We pleaded with the governor, and under 2-3 minutes, he accepted to redo it.
The club trustee, Chief Nnianwu Obodo, suggested the recreation of a cinema or film house within the club to promote education, particularly for children and families of members.
If you make it possible for us to have a film hall here, which can show our children in the afternoon, so that they can be abreast with the traffic, the highway traffic of education and sophistry in development all over the world.
New patrons of the house were installed during the events, including Edna Erinne, Kingsley Eze, Dr. David Obodo, and Festus Ono. In Enugu, Chinemerem Ikebunam for Signature TV News.
You're still watching from the Correspondent on Signature TV. A research fellow at the Institute of Development Studies of the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, Dr. Uzochukwu Amakom, has charged Nigerian citizens to show more interest in the annual budget of the federal government and the subnational. He said that the budget should represent the wishes, hopes, and aspirations of the citizens and not just annual presentation of figures. Dr. Amakom spoke at the Ideas Policy Engagement platform on the analysis and evaluation of the budget of the 36 states of Nigeria held at Nigerian University campus Enugu.
The Institute of Development Studies of the University of Nigeria was established in 1963, primarily for research into social, economic, and sustainable human development issues. Its main focus is to carry out research and profile solutions to some societal problems and development issues. It is in an effort to fulfill part of this mandate that the Institute organized a forum to present the findings of a comprehensive analysis of the budget of various state governments in Nigeria. It provided an opportunity for valuable insight into the fiscal priorities, challenges, and opportunities for improvement in Nigeria's subnational governments. The resource person, Dr. Uzochukwu Amakom, presented the findings of the rigorous analysis of the budget of various state governments in Nigeria, combining quantitative and qualitative data to provide a comprehensive understanding of Nigeria's fiscal landscape. Amakom said Nigerians must begin to ask questions about the monies presented in the annual budget and how they are eventually utilized.
You look at their idea of where they are going. Let's use the Enugu, for example, that says tomorrow is here. You should be able to look at the budget and see how this budget can usher in tomorrow today. Because if you can't do that, then you don't have to blame him at the end of the day if nothing is achieved.
Director of the Institute, Dr. Ben Wusu, emphasized the importance of the budget analysis and presentation.
Often, I like to note, we focus on federal budget. That is what allocations to the federal sectors by the presidency or from the federal level, without taking into account what is happening at the various state levels. Interestingly, we want to look at today at what the various state governments are doing, how they are allocating funds to various sectors, to see ultimately how they impinge on what we are studying here, which is development.
During the interactive session, some of the participants urged the governors to ensure full implementation of their budgets and address the needs of their citizens.
Is it possible to show a trend of states in Nigeria that seems to have done well over time in terms of education, social security, or perhaps health, so that we can actually know if there are indicators that could actually measure their performance part? Because we can't talk about development without looking at the core foundations of health education.
We are talking on 2025 budget of states across the country. Budgets are just mere estimates. I believe that we look back at the actual expenditure at the end of 2025 and see how far we have gone.
Former director of the Institute, Professor Osita Obu, charged the citizens to hold their governors accountable at all times.
But the central point is that for as long as our politics is wrong, budget and budget implementation will be wrong, development will not occur, because the budget you are discussing is a product of the political process. And no government, as far as we know, has been re-elected based on performance of the first term.
President of Signature TV, Vim Martin Irlo, thanked the organizers for the event, which he described as quite rewarding.
And I think that if those of us that are students, maybe at the master's level or PhD level, when we get exposed to experts in this area, it will help in their confidence, it will help in expanding their contact, and I commend the leadership.
The presentation not only gave an insight into the intentions of the various state governments as captured in figures, but made recommendations on how they can improve their budget processes in future in order to deliver better services to their people. In Enugu, Ugonne Owalo for Signature TV.
With a population of about 36 million people, the Southeast is awash with stories. Every day on Southeast News, we tell the peculiar story of the Southeast and her people.
Our Southeast should be the Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Their successes, achievements, and daily challenges. Do you have a Southeast story to share? Community achievements and challenges, completed and uncompleted projects, bad roads, water scarcity, erosion, flooding, insecurity, or even disagreements? Bring it on to Southeast News. On Southeast News, no story is too big or too small. Southeast News. Let's tell our story. Showing on Signature TV every weekday at 4 p.m. WAT, 1600 hours GMT.
Glad to have you back on From the Correspondent on Signature TV. Prominent Nigerians who are committed to authenticate democracy convened in Abuja to participate in the funeral rites for Professor Humphrey Nwosu, former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. It was a day of tributes for a man who is said to represent the best in the conduct of Nigeria's election.
The final rites of passage for the late Professor Humphrey Nwosu, former chairman of the National Electoral Commission of Nigeria, became a commentary on Nigeria's electoral process. The judgment was that Professor Humphrey Nwosu was exceptional and that the expectation was that the system should evolve in his footsteps.
Professor Nwosu is a celebrated person who really produced the option A4 to arrive at this very, very critical junction of how to have elections that are not only peaceful and orderly but credible. It was excellent, produced one of the best results of elections in Nigeria, celebrated, highly honored, but to our surprise, the best elections were annulled. That was the most difficult day in our lives.
If a laborer is worthy of his wages, then a man of integrity deserves all the honor. Speaker after speaker, in pouring tribute to the late professor, called for appropriate honor for his hold in delivering the most transparent, free, and credible election in Nigeria.
Professor Humphrey was deservedly regarded as one of the main heroes of June 12. For us as a commission, we will forever cherish the enduring legacy he left behind. There would be no independent National Electoral Commission as it is today if Professor Humphrey Nwosu had not done what he did between 1989 and 1993.
Scholars and academics also paid tribute to the late professor. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala acknowledged Nwosu's impact in Nigeria's political landscape and affirmed his symbolism as a beacon of hope. Additionally, Professor Simon Okeke suggested renaming the INEC headquarters office in his honor as a fitting tribute.
Professor Humphrey Nwosu created possibility. In many ways, it is like showing a generation a vision of light. And so we came to know that it is in fact possible for an election that is free and fair to be conducted in Nigeria.
A sad irony of history is that heroes are not always recognized in their lifetime. But the family and friends of Professor Nwosu can take some comfort from the well-documented courage and sincerity with which he served. A service that is now openly acknowledged by Nigerians from all walks of life.
We have heard from the Secretary of INEC that it was Humphrey that saw to the building of the current headquarters of INEC. Why not name that headquarters Humphrey?
The Events Planning Committee, chaired by former Imo State Governor Emeka Ihedioha, underscored Nwosu's influence. Former INEC Chairman Professor Atario Jega praised his unwavering integrity, stating that his contributions to leadership and governance should serve as a model for future generations. Chief Osita Chidoka, Corps Marshal of the event, called for a commitment to preserving Nwosu's legacy, urging Nigerians to reflect on the nation he worked tirelessly to build.
It was necessary to reach to a point where we say, you played a significant role in the annals of our history. And you taught us early enough how to do things right. And you also bequeathed courage to generations that will succeed.
Unfortunately, in our country, we seem very slow and hesitant in rewarding national heroes, and I consider Professor Nwosu's contribution and the courage to withstand what I can call the intrigues of military rulers trying to stay and perpetuate themselves in power really something that is very heroic and that deserves to be appropriately appreciated and recognized and honored in our country.
We gather to pay tribute to Professor Humphrey Nwosu, scholar, reformer, and patriot whose life and work exemplify the rare courage it takes to do the right thing in a country that too often punishes virtue.
Beyond his public service and academic journey, Professor Nwosu was also celebrated as a family man. His son-in-law, Osita Irono, described him as a guiding light and mentor, whose wisdom and kindness left an indelible mark on those close to him.
He was more than just a father-in-law, he was a guiding light. He was a mentor and a true patriot. We held dear by those who loved him, those who benefited from his generosity, but also indelible mark that he made on all of us.
As Nigeria continues to grapple with electoral reforms and governance challenges, the contributions of Professor Humphrey Nwosu, who conducted the 1993 election, remain a beacon of hope and a reminder of the need for integrity in leadership. The calls for his recognition serve as a testament for his lasting impact on Nigeria's democratic process. In Abuja, I am Chimize Zadima for Signature TV.
The newly appointed Comptroller of Customs in charge of Kebbi Area Command, Chukwumerize Nwokore, has pledged to combat crime and strengthen border security in the area. Nwokore made the promise while briefing press at the Customs headquarters in Birni Kebbi, the Kebbi state capital, along with sister agencies.
According to Comptroller Nwokore, the command generated a total revenue of 13,378,002 naira. He also highlighted the impact of collaboration, cooperation, and intelligence sharing with sister agencies, which led to significant seizures, including 145 bales of second-hand clothing, 13,750 liters of premium motor spirit, 114 bags of 50 kg foreign parboiled rice, 30 cartons of new light cigarettes, 70 cartons of expired Biggie vanilla wafer biscuits, 27 cartons of expired Sunwatt AA batteries, and 40 bags of 50 kg foreign sugar. The comptroller revealed that the duty paid value of the seized items amount to 84,219,654 naira. Additionally, in its effort to curb the smuggling of petroleum products, the command confiscated 13,750 liters of petroleum motor spirit, valued at 5.5 million naira. He stated that the seized fuel will be auctioned to the public, with proceeds remitted to federal government coffers. The comptroller emphasized that the command's duty is not limited to the seizures made in the last month, stressing that customs also work with sister agencies to seize and destroy illicit drugs, firearms, and other dangerous or prohibited items.
In anti-smuggling, your suppression and decimation of smuggling as one of our core mandates is one of the key reasons why I'm here. And in showing our seriousness so far in fighting smuggling, we have met with our stakeholders and have reawakened and rejuvenated the key units of the command, alongside engaging our sister agencies in intelligence sharing and concerted efforts towards useful and meaningful synergy, knowing that nothing gives energy to strategy like synergy. This synergy has undoubtedly aided in curbing the activities of smugglers and their syndicates. Though smuggling, considering the peculiar nature of our borders, cannot be completely eradicated, all the agencies are working so hard to reduce it to the barest minimum.
Representing the NDLEA, Deputy State Commandant of the NDLEA Kebbi State Command, Benjamin Agaji, commended the new Custom Comptroller for his efforts in the past month. He reaffirmed the NDLEA's support in assisting customs in combating crime in state.
For the effort and the relationship that is existing between NDL and the customs. So I wish you well. For the past 1 month, you have not rested. At the end of the day, this is the result of what we do. But I will thank you. I want to thank you for all the effort. I promise that the relationship between NDA and customs
The state coordinator NAFDAC Muhyiddin Suleiman also praised the Custom Command for its continuous effectiveness. He commended the comptroller for building on the command's mandate and pledged NAFDAC's cooperation for better results.
All we can do is to further give him our cooperation, is to further assist him, give him the confidence to continue to drive. Don't forget that NAFDAC, just like custom, also controls, among other things, the importation and exportation of regulated products. When I say regulated products, they are all sectoral. We are in the food, drug, cosmetics, chemical, and whatever sector. But while they take the lead at the border posts, we follow them suit.
The Kebbi State Custom Area Command remains committed to the enforcing trade regulation, curbing smuggling, and generating revenue for the federal government with continued collaboration from sister agency. The command aims to strengthening border security and safeguard public health. Comptroller Chukwumeziri Uwokori assured that the command will sustain its efforts in tackling illegal trade activities while enhancing legitimate business operation in the state. From Brini Kebbi, Excellence Benjamin reporting for Signature TV.
The livestock market, New Artisan Market, is a key economic hub with a thriving livestock business. Our correspondent Ugono Walu, who visited the market, reports that there is a decline in the demand of livestock, which may not be unconnected with the recent fasting among Christians and Muslims. Let's look at our report.
This is the New Artisan Livestock Market in Enugu, where the sound of commerce and community fill the air. But a surprising trend is currently playing out in the market during this fasting period. Vendors are struggling to attract customers as a result of declining patronage. Market leaders attribute the low patronage to several factors. How has the market been?
Well, the market is slowly now because of the fasting. There's no even animal. Animal is not much now because of the fasting. Some people will go to bush and it's very difficult for them to go and buy this because of the fasting. Depends, everything has size by size in animals. When you get a cow of 1 million, you get a cow of 800,000, you get a 1.2, you get 1.3, depends the size of the cow. But everything is very low price now. More than Christmas time is more higher than now.
This year we have experienced a true fasting period. Muslim and Christian. Christians are doing their own Lent, we are doing our own. So we have a low patronage of the market now, for now. I don't know, later, maybe after the fasting, we'll see. Best price of the cows range from 1.8, 1.67, 1.5. That is the highest. So the lowest is from 450, 500, 600, 700. That's average to 800. That's the average.
Several buyers shared their experiences purchasing goods at the market.
Yeah, before we normally buy at least at the cheap price, at least 60, 50 something to 70. Then there is the ones of 100, that is size by size. But now, gold put money, gold add money now. Whether because of the situation of the country or the fasting way they do, I don't understand. The price is so high now.
I don't know if you check the Nigeria economy generally. Nigeria economy is very bad, and it has affected everything, from food to animal to everything. So that is because of fuel, because of dollar, it's affected everything.
Overlap of Muslim and Christian fasting this year presents a unique opportunity for interfaith understanding and cooperation. In Enugu, Gonne Owalo for Signature TV News.
You're still watching from the Correspondent and Signature TV. Like I said earlier, this is where we bring you stories behind the headlines, the efforts reporters put in to ensure that news is written and packaged properly for our viewing pleasure, to get us informed and entertained. With me in the studio today is Ugone Owalo, one of our reporters who have been on the field for some time now, and today we'll be discussing high experience in the field with emphasis on the challenges of navigating news writing and reporting in this digital age. Ogone, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
All right, so you kind of are you feeling cold? You're sitting. Okay, so I think it's better like that. So first of all, I would like to start. Can we know your mental preparedness to first of all going out for a coverage? If you are assigned for a coverage, how do you go about it? How has it been so far so good being a reporter?
So far so good. It hasn't been easy though, because at first you'll be told what to go and do. You'll be assigned to a bit, and when you are told, you have the story in your head. Of course, you're supposed to have an imagination of where you are going to, but sometimes when you go there, you'll be so shocked that what you expect is not what you are seeing in the field. There are challenges though, because I've gone for a report where I went to people's homes for interview on a particular issue, and they were like, okay, now you are here, what do you have for us? Like, they expect me to come with goodies.
Okay, they, for you to interview them, you must give them something?
You must give them something, and if you don't do that, they'll be like, nothing for you. We won't give you the information you're asking for. So tell the people that sent you to give you something for us. And even when you try to tell them that, what I'm doing is to help you have a voice, to help you get what you want to get, the thing that you have been crying for. They'll still refuse. So some, even if you call, if you want to, based on still the interview part, when you call them and be like, please, I want to have an interview with you on so topic and all that, they'll be like, okay, then at the end,
you know, but regardless, you've been able to churn out a couple of reports. So in this kind of situation where the person you want to talk to is not, we want to interview, is not willing to give you that audience, how do you go about it? Because at the end of it, your report must come out. So how do you go about it?
You improvise.
Okay, how?
You improvise. Sometimes there are some reports that there are some stakeholders you want to talk to, but they will not give you audience. And you have to, should I just use the term common man, to still talk about what you expect from the stakeholders to talk about. So improvising is when you go out, you use the common man on the street to get what the stakeholder is supposed to talk about, instead of coming back without a report.
Okay, so I understand there have been this time where you were away for 3 or 4 days on a particular report. Can you just take us through the journey? I know you went for work. Was it that interesting? Was it worth it in the first place? Just take us through the journey on that coverage and any other experience.
Yes, it was a 3 days coverage, and it was quite interesting because, well, there's a places you go to and you have top of government officials all coming out for the event, and you end up not you'll be shocked though. You'll be so shocked because you'll be like, who will I talk to? Who will I talk to? The environment will be so busy and all that, but it was interesting though, because as a reporter you go out, you meet different people in the field, and the 3 days was quite interesting. You had to interact. Going out to the field is very interesting because when you talk to these people, talk to another person, you see how people reason, and you understand how you can flow with them.
All right. So we've been speaking to Ogone here in the studio. Meanwhile, Lillian Wale is standing by. She's currently in the field getting us report on the Mothering Sunday. And to that regard, happy Mothering Sunday to all the mothers out there, and happy Ramadan to our Muslim brothers who are marking the end of the Ramadan fast. Lillian, hello, are you there with me?
Yes, I'm right here. Good afternoon.
All right, Lillian, good afternoon. Welcome to From the Correspondent. It's a pleasure having you. All right, so we understand that you are on the field getting us report concerning the Modern Sunday. How is it going?
Well, so far it's going well. It's going well. We've been able to establish some visuals, also get a few interviews done. We observed a few challenges too.
Okay. Can you just take us through the process and the preparation for this report? Because I have it on good knowledge that you went for another report, then came out for this one early this morning. So how has it been?
Oh, to be honest, I am stressed. That's just the simple truth. It hasn't been easy, if I'm being honest to myself. So yesterday I went out for a report. On coming back after wrapping up, production, editing, and everything. I was in the office till. Okay, I think I went home and then I came back to the office to work on the report. I was awake up till 3 a.m. working on this particular report.
Oh, wow.
And then I slept just for 2 hours. I woke up again, did a finishing touches. Then I went home to shower and rushed back to the office for this particular report of Modern Sunday. So it wasn't planned, but I just had to step in. Okay, this is just part of the sacrifices that we made, no sleep. I'll just say sleepless nights. I've had sleepless nights because of this, the other report, and today I am looking worn out, I'm looking tired, I'm still, sluggishly, still patting myself on the back and telling myself that I can actually do this. So we came to the church and they weren't that receptive, The person that we met did not give us the good directives. We entered, we were embarrassed at first because they were like, oh, we don't know you. Why are you carrying camera? A whole lot of persons were scared and afraid to even come in front of the camera. It was just a few confident ones that were able to do that. So in the Anglican church, we went there. One of the ushers actually embarrassed the cameraman. I was like, who are you and why are you here? If you need any assistance, talk to our media. Our media will give you all the visuals and the videos that you need. It was like, no, we already spoke to the media team, and they are the one that approved that we should go on and record everything that is happening. The man insisted. They had to go and get their superiors, even their pastor's wife had to come in front of the church. It was so embarrassing. I didn't know what to do at that point. We just had to, take everything in, swallow it because we're on duty, And other challenges is that most of these people, like yesterday that we went for a reporting about the market in the streets, I was scared because some of those touts, I don't know if I should say touts or bus drivers, they will come to you and tell you that, find me something, you must give me something, or if not, you cannot do anything here.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? You want interview person will never chop food? Those kind of embarrassment.
All right, thank you so much, Lillian. We would like to know, first of all, I feel sorry for the situation you faced out there. Can we know how the celebration is going briefly in just 1 minute?
Okay, so far it's going very well. Everybody's excited. There is so much activities going on: football, poetry, dance, songs, church service, pictures, launching, and every other thing. We've done a few interviews, and people are really, really happy today. Even families inclusive.
All right. Also, but at the end of it all, you were able to achieve what you went there for.
Yes, against all odds. I am able to do that. But I am tired, I am hungry, and I am very much thirsty. And this is almost 3 p.m. I will have to prepare this script.
All right.
Still go and come back to work tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much, Lillian. So much sacrifice to keep us informed about happenings in our society. That is how far we can go as journalists to ensure that the community or the society is informed and up to date with the happenings within and around us. All right, so back to Ugone. Before we call it a day on the show, please can you just summarize your thought about how to, you heard what Lillian said. She complained about difficulties and even getting people to talk, like you mentioned earlier. So we are in a digital age where reporting has gone past a question and answer, where we are trying to improvise and adapt other mechanisms to ensure that we improve news reporting. So how have you been able to adapt technology in ensuring that reporting is fast-paced and up-to-date?
Well, you have to move with the trend. The truth, you just have to move with the trend. You see, she talks about with the fast. She's been tired, and she must still do the job. So these are the things you have to sacrifice and make sure that the job is done. Now, with the technology and trying to move and make sure everything is done, once you are doing an interview, start writing. Write immediately, because you don't know if you're going back to the office, you don't know the next thing your boss will tell you to do.
Okay, all right. Because of time, will not take much. But before we go, we understand you were with the Muslim brothers to mark the end of the fasting for the holy month of Ramadan. How did it go?
It went well. It was fun.
Okay.
Very interesting. Seeing the Muslim family come together to end their fast. It was a difficult time for them. It wasn't easy for them because they had to sacrifice a lot. They had to sacrifice their food, their strength.
When you say sacrifice food, no, Ramadan is a season of reflection, love, and all of that. So sacrificing food, you mean?
No, what I mean is they will not eat, yet they will still go out to do their daily duties.
Okay.
And it's a must.
Okay. All right. So, just take us through the activities from the beginning. What were the procession of the ending of the fasting? What you witnessed? How did he turn out?
Well, we went to Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium.
Okay.
And when we got there, the Muslim brothers and sisters were already at the praying ground. And of course, they don't stay together. The women were separate and the men were separate. But because we are the media, they allowed us to stay where the men were, just to cover, because we were to cover the whole thing. And the preaching, they were told in Arabic to imbibe the spirit of love, considering the fact that they are not in their religious states.
Okay.
You understand? So this is Igbo land, and it's usually northern states, and because they are here, they should just imbibe love.
Okay, they should be law-abiding and obey the laws of the
love
states.
Each other.
And preach love. So it's all about love, caring for one another, and making sacrifices so that humanity can get better, especially in this time where it's more like the love for many has grown cold. And because of time, we would like to drop it here for this segment of From the Correspondent. But I believe you had a nice time like we did here back in the studio. And until we come your way next week, I am Emmanuel Tewasi. Bye for now.
Save Nature TV News in your pocket.